We've become very close over the last couple of years. You know me, I always tell you guys when we're doing business, we go straight to the top. This is the top of the top. He runs a very large, successful team in the Conejo Valley. How long have you been in business?
14 years.
14 years. Does a lot of luxury property, which we can all get a lot of information from following and watching him. But more importantly, you know, my theme is automate, delegate, eliminate, and he lives that to the fullest extent. Automation is something that I just watch in awe how they run their team and what they do. Delegation, dude is awesome at delegating and eliminating. You'll see their team that runs very, very smooth and very tight. And it's just a fascinating machine to watch. But not only that, Tristan's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. You can hear in his voice how calming he is, and imagine him going to your house to list it. As he talks to you today, look at him in a lot of different ways. Study his mouth, his way he talks, his personality, and learn from him. Because every time I watch Tristan speak, I'm just like, oh my God, because he's so good. And anything that he wants you to do, he could get you to do via NLP, his personality style, and his tonality. So there's a lot of things to take advantage of today, and doing it in jeans, man. Like every day, a t-shirt and jeans, and probably one of the best family guys I know too. That you know, we study the 7 F's here, and I preach them all the time. Does anybody want to tell me what they are? Do they have them memorized?
Ooh, dude, the 7. I don't even know them.
Well, let's do it, right? We have to do it. Faith, family, friends, fitness, finances, future business, fun.
Oh, wow.
Right? And Tristan represents that in a really good way.
That's really good. Dude, that's good. I never even heard that.
Because you never stay in the room when I speak. I was on his phone running around. So, and if you don't know, I am speaking on property management. A lot of times I don't talk about it in these rooms because many of us don't care. But if you've ever learned, how I've made millions and millions off of property management, I'm going to do a full-on presentation and releasing all the secrets of things that I've learned over the years that you guys have never heard. There should be a couple hundred people in the room, and it should be fun. I'm also going to teach you how to take rental leads and convert them into buyers and sellers. So it's a whole presentation you guys have never seen before. It's going to be really, really fun. So hopefully you guys can all come down and party with us in San Diego. Hotels on the beach, how bad could it be, right? Yeah. With that being said, give Tristan a hell of a Home Smart welcome again.
Thanks, man. That was good. That was it. We're done. Let's go. So, we hear a lot of Gary Vee and a lot of Grant Cardone telling us to hustle, right? I get it on my Facebook feed all the time, and sometimes I even send it out and I'm like, dude, this is pretty good, hustle. But it's causing us to forget about probably the most important thing in any business. Can somebody tell me what that is? No good. Relationships are really important, yes. So when we get to talk to millionaires, and in some cases some billionaires, because we are exposed to these people, we get to sit with them one-on-one, and they're not talking about hustle. They're talking about leverage. They're talking about leveraging, they're talking about automation. So they're talking about leveraging technology, tools, and talented people. That's what they're looking at. So you look at that and you say, well shit, I've been hustling all this time and I'm getting nowhere. You've got to take a step back and you've got to think, what do I need to leverage to get to that next step? Because obviously I'm doing something wrong when you have all these people surpassing you and becoming millionaires, and in some cases billionaires. They're leveraging. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today, because we never get to really talk about it in real estate. We've tried to automate certain things for you so that you're able to see how that looks. Today we're going to talk about Facebook lead ads. Obviously everybody knows about Facebook lead ads, right? Yeah. Online leads, Craigslist, follow-up scripts for each, and systems and products that we use to make it easier. So this guy, I've never met this guy. Seems like a really nice guy, doesn't he? Super sweet guy. But he talks about putting in some type of an automation into your business. He says once you start doing that, you'll start seeing where everything is screwing up or what you're doing right. And what you'll find is that he's right. Because as soon as we started automating our business, we started finding the big holes. We're like, wow, we really can't automate this as much as we thought because there's a big backup right here. So it's important to read that and think, am I ready to automate? Why do people automate? Can somebody tell me why you would even want to leverage? There's a lot of reasons. Good job. Yep, that's it. For me, the first reason I thought of was family. Because I want that back. I want to be able to spend time with my kids when they're small, and I want to be able to spend time with my wife. I don't want to be hustling every freaking day. I want to have maybe one weekend off, right?
Amen.
Yes.
So you want to be able to do this, and we are able to do this. I mean, I'm doing it. You're doing it. There's a lot of people doing it at really high levels. So you can start seeing automation. What's happening right now is we're starting to see the very, very beginning of AI. And a lot of businesses are implementing this. I think I got a call from, does anybody know City Blast? Who knows City Blast? So City Blast is like a little social media company that auto posts these posts for you on Facebook and I think LinkedIn and maybe Instagram. I got a call from them and it was an automated call. It was a person, well, it was a robot that sounded like a person. I was like, whoa, this is cool. This is the first time. Happened last week, and it happened to Gantry. I don't know if you know Gantry. So I'm interacting with this AI that sounds like I'm talking to Scott Edwards in the back. And I'm like, oh crap. So AI is barely beginning. And we're able to start using some of this towards our advantage because it's not even where a lot of people envision it yet. So I'm going to show you some of these things that we're doing. But first I want to take you through stats because stats are super important. So we're able to see what we're missing in the business. The average age of a buyer, 32. I thought it was much higher. I was like, 32? That makes him a millennial, right? So 32. The top places where realtors place their listings are still Realtor.com and Zillow. So for all of you complaining about Zillow and Realtor.com, stop it. Stop it. They're there. But 52% of home buyers use an iPhone to look at homes online. Can anybody tell me why that's important?
Because you can click either the property or the agent from there and click the number and call directly.
True. I'm looking for a different answer.
The names are on there. They're all up
True.
above.
True.
You can target people that have some.
Good. The number here's the important reason. It's telling you that iPhone is better than the Android. I'm just joking. Although they really are. 51% of buyers found their home on the internet as opposed to calling the agent directly or seeing him at an open house or something like that. 34% of buyers found their home through a realtor. That's a high number. And 1% of buyers found their home on printed magazine or newspaper. That's important because we always hear this. Well, only 1% of people are looking at newspapers and printed magazines, so I'm not even going to market there. But I'm going to tell you to take a step back and think. What's the percentage of ultra wealthy individuals in this world? It's less than 1%. Who's looking at these magazines and newspapers? 1%, for the most part. So when I get an ultra luxury property, I use that 1%. And believe it or not, we just leased a $75,000 a month property in Malibu because somebody saw it on a newspaper from New York, an architect. I was like, what? No. So it works. Just not for the median price ranges. 94% begin their search online. It's probably higher. I don't see how it's not 100%, but that's the stat I'm going with. 65% say that their first action online is to request to see a home. That's cool. 33% found the agent they used to buy a home online. That's great. Now, this is the important one. 50% of online leads just never get responded to. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, people are paying for these leads and they're complaining for them too. But 50%? I mean, what are you doing here? We're in the mix because we're part of this 50%. Online leads need an average of 5 follow-ups before contact is made. I would even say it's a little higher now. Because people are so used to just looking at their phone. If they don't recognize the number, they're just not going to pick it up, right? That's why text is so important. Here's the most important one to me, because I hear a lot of agents say, well, if I meet them in person, it's game over. And I hear that a lot from agents, right? And it's true. Here's the number. 78% of home buyers use the first agent they meet. That's a huge number. So why then 50% of these online buyer leads we never get a hold of? There's a gap. So what you need to start doing is creating systems to put in place to be able to reach these people. So they can either raise their hands and say, yes, I'm interested, or maybe not right now. But the point is to try to meet them in person. Because 3 out of 4 people that you meet will stick with you. That's a huge number. But we're just not getting there. 5 stages of lead follow-up. So before I get into the next step, I need to go over the 5 stages here. Just so you understand where we're coming from in our approach, because a lot of the automated process that I've created is built on this. Number 1 to me is authenticity and honesty. A lot of the times, agents that we're working with, they're stuck in the 1970s or the 1980s in their approach. They're hardcore closers, right? And that doesn't work in our world.
No.
It does not work. So you still see some people on Facebook that are like, yeah, I'm a hardcore closer. I'm like, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Because that's not our world. Especially with millennials. Look, 32 average age of a buyer. They don't want to be hardcore closed. They want a relationship. They want to know that they can trust you. And that trust for them starts with emojis, right? They want to know that they can connect and that you speak their language. So that's only going to come across through authenticity. People want to work with you when they're like, wow, this person is real. Right? That's why I like Mike. Because I don't think he's ever been fake. He's just so real. He's one of the most real people that there are. And so people can relate with that. They're like, you know what? This person I can connect with. This is a real person. I'm not being sold here. And so that's where it starts. That's where your approach starts. Whether it's by text, email, phone call. If you start thinking, you know, how can I be authentic? Then all of your communication then starts changing to be more authentic. And that's where I start everything. Authenticity and honesty. I hate when another agent, I went to a for sale by owner 3 weeks ago, and I'm sitting there, I'm agent number 23, I think, for sale by owner. I'm agent 23, and maybe 5 minutes into it, he says, so these are all the presentations that these people brought me, right? And there's a stack of them to the right of him. And he's like, why is it that all of you agents sound the same? And then I laugh, I'm like, it's because everybody's trying to copy Mike Ferry scripts, right? I have to explain to them, there's this guy named Mike Ferry. And he was listening. So that's, unfortunately, those scripts are the ones that we're stuck on, right? They have no authenticity, it's hardcore closing. You've got to tweak that. You've got to change it. This client said, why is it that you sound the same? And then he said, all agents are the same. A minute into it, I said, after he said that, I think we were 15 minutes into it, I said, hey, man, look, I appreciate the opportunity. I don't want to sell your home. This just isn't for me. I just feel like we're just not communicating, and this is probably going to go wrong if I list your home. He's like, what do you mean? So it caught him off guard, and then he said, well, why wouldn't you want to list my home? I go, first, it's overpriced, right? And I think you can wait and probably sell it maybe for the price that you want. I don't see the market going down, but who knows? So at the end of the conversation, 20 minutes after that, he said, can you help my children buy a home after I sell my home for sale by owner? I said, all right, whatever. But sometimes you just can't be afraid to let it go. And that has to do a lot with your honesty. Be honest to yourself. Next, attention. Here's where a lot of people fail. The attention is this. You've got to try all avenues to be able to reach somebody. So if they come in as a lead online through, let's say they come through Facebook, and you tried calling them one time, chances are you're not going to reach them. But if you try calling them, no voicemail, calling them again a minute later, maybe leave a voicemail, then a text, no response, then another text 15 minutes later, then an email, then maybe another call an hour later, right? You're trying to get their attention, maybe try through social media. But the point is, you've got to try through different avenues. You can't just say, hey, I called them. One of my pet peeves is when an agent on my team says, I just called them like 2 hours later, and that's all I get. I called them. I'm like, shit, that's it? Doesn't it piss you off? It pisses me off, because the next thing is, if we're trying and we finally reach somebody, let's say I finally reach Mike after like 15 attempts, he's probably a little pissed off. It's like, what the hell is it? Who are you? I'm like, Mike, I'm so sorry. We've just been trying to reach you to see how we can help you out. We know that you originally were looking at homes. Were you?
Yeah, we still am.
Yeah, so we just apologize. We take a step back and apologize. And I think that a lot of the times we don't know what to say, so we don't then make those amount of attempts for communication. Because what if they do get mad, right? Well, they're not going to kill you over the phone, right? So your approach needs to be like, all right, I try to bombard them. Now I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to apologize, connect with them. Then the next one, engage. This is a big issue here. And a client finally decides to text you back after you've tried 15 times maybe of communications. Says, yeah, send me a list of open houses. And then you don't respond for a day. When somebody responds to you or leaves you a message, try to get back to them as soon as possible if it's a client. Because you have this opportunity where they finally raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm interested, right? So it's time to engage with them. And then last, convert or go for the relationship. Yeah, there's a difference here. It's not convert or you suck, right? It's none of that. This is where we live in right now. If you can't convert a lead right now, you've got to figure out what their time frame is. When you talk to them, you figure out, well, you're going to buy in a year from now. What's going to happen in a year from now for you to want to buy? You start asking questions, and then at that point, you're going for the relationship rather than trying to convert somebody who's not ready. Because if you're trying to convert somebody and trying to close them, trying to meet them, trying to just take them to that next level when they're not ready, that's what gives us real estate agents a bad name. When people start saying we're like car salesmen, right? So when you can't convert, you go for the relationship. That's really important. So those are the 5. Any questions on those? Good. All right, so we're going to go over traditional Facebook ads, Facebook Messenger, and lead ads. Here are 2 ads. I'm sorry, not ads, posts that I did on my personal page. And what I tell people is, look, your personal page for Facebook or Instagram, it's your brand, it's who you are. People look at you, and that's who they can identify with, or they can't identify with, right? Depending on all of your political posts about Trump, right? I don't know. So for me, I try to bring in people into my life a little bit, just to show them what I'm doing, places that I've gone to, so that people can start relating with me. And what I've done is I've decided that for every 4 personal posts, I do 1 business post on my personal page. And that's a good balance. That's what I found. So here you see I had 132 likes and 81 likes on this one. This is my first time to an event called Holy or Holly. I don't know what the pronunciation is. But it's Holy? All right, cool. And it was like throwing a whole bunch of colors at each other. It was really cool. And then we had to wash our clothes. That was great. And to the right, I had my daughter go to a camp there where she learned to deal with her fears. And it was really cool. So just sharing with people where you are, because people want to get to know you. It goes back to that whole authenticity part, right? People want to connect with somebody they can relate with. And then here you go, the one on the left over here is a business page. It's one listing that we had, and that was a $10 million listing. It had, 46,000 views, 68 shares, 2.2 thousand comments, likes, and 25 comments. So we use our business page to promote our business, right? That's what it's for. Then we go on the back end of Facebook and target the right demographics, target the right audience to be able to explode. And on the right, you see that's my personal page again. That's a business post, even though it's I thought it was a little bit fun. 18 million coming soon. It's a high school friend of mine who's a developer. He's going to put up his home for sale in Brentwood for 18 million, and I got 145 likes on that one.
What high school did you go to?
It's a private school, Pasadena. Yeah, very true. Good question. So you see, it's a little bit of a mix. You've got personal, and you've got business. And for the business page, stick to business. For your personal page, do mostly personal. That's what I would say. 4-to-1 is the ratio. Now, if you have if you find it hard to post because you just suck at Facebook, and you want to use a company to be able to post your listings to your business page, try a company called Back at You Media. Yeah, actually, Mike, does HomeSmart offer anything on the back end?
Not on the back end, no.
So Back at You Media has a deal with NAR, and I think they charge like $10 a month, which is like nothing because of the deal they made with NAR, where they automatically grab your listings, create an ad for it, and auto post. They'll send you an email and say, hey, this is what it's going to look like, just click next. And if you automate it, which is just saying yes, go ahead and auto post it. You can also put like $10 behind it. They'll create a lead ad out of it, or $20 behind it, and you don't have to do anything. As soon as you get a listing, it just pulls it and posts it. And that's not too bad. Now, Facebook Messenger. Anybody familiar with Facebook Messenger?
Yeah.
Right? So there's a combination of what I use here to automate a little bit. And that's Ylopo. You've heard of Ylopo. And ChatFuel. You've heard of ChatFuel? All right, so I'll show you what it looks like on the next page here. So over here to the left, from this point on, is my website. That's my Ylopo website. You see on the bottom right, you find the Messenger tab there. Instead of a little chat box that takes you to a random chat, this takes you directly to Facebook Messenger. Again, it creates that authenticity part, that connection, that trust that people want, because people are familiar with Facebook. So it gives us a higher chance of being able to connect with them because they'll want to click on there, right? And once they do, ChatFuel takes over. And ChatFuel, we've automated our responses. So I can be asleep and people can be chatting it up with my bot. Any questions they have, their value for their home, you can create whatever responses you want. So take a look at ChatFuel. This is just the beginning. You're going to start seeing a lot more integration with the Facebook Messenger. But that's Facebook Messenger. Any questions on that?
What are those names of those 2 programs again?
Ylopo, YLOPO, and ChatFuel.
I'm sure you're going to explain, but you said they're talking to your bot.
Mm-hmm. So they're talking to an AI. So you've created the responses. So remember, choose your own adventure, like that. You created choose your own adventure for your clients. So you've created all the answers. and answers to the questions that you pose. So for instance, you click on the back end and all of a sudden it'll pop up and say, hey, thanks for stopping by, or thanks for visiting me. Are you thinking of selling, buying, refinancing, or renting? And then you click, depending on what you click, and the next thing happens. And then the next thing happens. So, but it all depends, the answers depend on what you've created. So it automates some of that process.
A library of information.
You got it.
We've already created it. It's from here to here to here, the flow chart.
Yeah, so you can map it all out.
Just like we do, last night I was looking for a vacation. So I was up at midnight and the chat came up and I said, you're really available right now?
Yeah.
And I am. And so I went and answered questions. So just like that, now I will be able to respond.
That's it. And the more we see that progress, the more those chatbots will have more natural language, and they'll sound more like a real human being, and they'll rely less on us to create these responses, which is what we've started seeing already with Google. Google's testing out a few things that, like I said at the beginning, City Blast, it sounded like a real human with real responses, which is really cool. Now, Facebook lead ads, if you're not familiar with them, it's easy. On your Facebook feed, an ad pops up. You click on it. When you click on it, your information populates. That means the consumer's information populates automatically, sends it over to me, and then that consumer is sent to the website. So if they see a property, they click on the property, right? After they click on the property, their information pops up. Once they click next, that information is sent to me, and then they're sent to that property. Pretty easy, right? They've simplified it for us. Go ahead.
So, in an earlier screen, it said, if we answer an online lead within 5 minutes, it's 900% and 400. But yet, you've been here for almost an hour, you haven't answered any leads yet. How is that happening?
I'll show you. You just have to wait. As I'm here, I've probably gotten, here, I won't guess, I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3, 4. First of all, I've gotten 27 texts, but 6 leads so far, and they've all been answered automatically. 2 of them connected to our ISAs, and it's already been happening. That's what I'm going to show you. So this right here, Facebook simplified the process for creating a Facebook lead ad. You want to take a picture of it? This is on your desktop. There's a drop-down menu. You go to create ads, then lead generation, and then you start choosing where you want to target. So when people ask me, I'm at a listing presentation, it's like, how are you going to target internationally? I can choose where I want your property to be seen. England, France, Germany, Spain, just not China, right? China doesn't work well with Facebook. But this is part of your marketing plan. People, last week, so I call for sale by owners and expireds every other day. Last week I went on a listing presentation for an expired listing in Calabasas for $1.25 million. It's a townhome on a lake. I didn't even know Calabasas had a lake. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy. So there's this guy, he says, look, I've been a broker for 30 years. I've seen everything. I'm looking for somebody that's doing something completely different, right? How are you going to do things that are different? I go, well, I think your property is going to be sold to either somebody who's single or somebody who's much older. He's like, yeah, I agree with you. I go, so let me show you how I'm going to target that. I pop this up and I show him how I can target those people. He's like, holy shit, this is cool. I didn't even know this existed. No wonder Facebook got in trouble, he said. I said, yeah, no wonder Facebook got in trouble. So that's part of it. This is a good ad that Nick has. If you want to take a picture of it, it'll show you some of the verbiage that you want to have. Obviously leave out the price, right? But you can see that it's a carousel ad. It's an ad that has more than one picture. And that's important because people like to engage. They like to swipe through. They like to be able to see more than one picture. Average, we spend about $7 to $10 a day. I'm going to focus on Valencia, right? I create an ad, I create a carousel ad, and I put $10 behind it every day, it's about $300 in a month that I'm spending. For every $10, you're probably going to get about a lead and a half. So you get some pretty good leads. You just have to respond to them. That's the only difference. You had a question earlier?
I was just going to ask if there's any truth to the information I read about Facebook taking away some of the realtor targeting.
They are.
Things like homeowner and they're going to take that away?
They're going to take that
When will they
away
do that?
in October, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they're slowly taking away some of those things, but you're still able to target people.
With the other
So,
demographics?
yeah, it's fairly easy. And plus Google, nobody's pointing a finger at Google. Google's the one that started this, right? Google still has all of that. Their Google pay-per-click. You can target anybody you want. It's true that Facebook is more in depth. It's Facebook, Google, and then Amazon. Those are the three, and then Apple. Nobody talks about them, but all of a sudden you notice Facebook got in trouble, and you're getting all of these privacy notices by email saying, hey, we're changing our privacy notices, right? That's why. Facebook lead, here I'll show you an example. You would click on the ad, that picture, then this will pop up. This is Nick's, this is going through Nick's ad. This will pop up, see the home. As soon as they click it, their information populates, and Facebook usually has all of our cell phones, right? Because we trust them, and I show my pictures to my mom on Facebook, and right? It's a good thing. After you click next, it then takes you to the website. Now on the back end, here's what's cool. Facebook's always changing everything, right? Their privacy settings, and they're always trying to also make a product for those of us that are using Facebook as a marketing platform. They're always trying to make it better. And one of the times we went to Facebook, so we get to go to Facebook every quarter, which is cool, because they love showing us what they're doing next, so we can tell everybody about it. One of the things that they recently added was higher intent. I don't know if that's clear. Perfect, it is. All right, you see where it says higher intent? That means that the lead, instead of it just clicking and the information populating and them clicking next, instead of that just happening, there's an extra step. There's an extra step because what we've been finding is when we call these leads, they're saying, my son clicked on the button on accident, sorry. Or my daughter was playing with my phone. That's what we get. And so what they did is they added an extra step. You don't have to have this, but we do. It's a slide button. On top of everything, you have to slide. Slide it to the edge to make sure that, hey, look, this information is going to whoever it is. Go ahead.
Would you do the slide plus a couple of questions or just a slide?
I always ask questions at the beginning, like this. We always ask multiple choice questions. We usually ask 2 questions all the time. Do you need to sell your home before you buy one? Right? And then the next thing is, are you buying in the next 90 days? Those are the only 2 questions we ask. And we have a multiple choice answer because we want to know what type of lead we're getting. But yeah, right after they do that, they have to slide. And now the lead, instead of it costing $6.70, it's costing us about $12 a lead. So it's a little bit more, but it's still much less than the $100 a lead that I'm paying Realtor.com or Zillow. Right, and now these people are expecting my call because they swiped. There's no way a 2-year-old's going to grab a phone, click, 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 and then slide. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. They are conditioned to click, click, and slide, aren't they? All right, so a lot of people say, well, what happens after I create these leads? Where do they go? If your CRM doesn't automatically populate them into their CRM, right? Then you can use what's called LeadsBridge or Zapier. They're not too expensive. I think they're like $20, $30 a month. And LeadsBridge will drop them into most of your CRMs, and so will Zapier. This way, the leads that you get from Facebook don't just stay as an Excel in Facebook, or else you'll never find them. Because this, if you don't have an automated process through your CRM, this allows you to automate what I'm about to show you. So, oh, you want to take a picture of it? Go ahead. Zapier and LeadsBridge. And Zapier does a lot more than just automate to from Facebook to a CRM. We use Zapier for expireds. So as soon as an expired comes out, we have our VA grab the information from LandVoice that she gets every morning. She populates it into a Google Excel sheet. Then Zapier grabs it. Zapier sends it to Agent Legend. Agent Legend starts an automated voicemail, text, email, video campaign. And then as soon as the expired says, F you, we take them off. Or they say, I have a question, then we call them. But it's part of that automated process. Relay HQ also is good. They do the Facebook lead ads portion of this for your listings. What Relay HQ does is you can create a single property website, and then that page alone is what you have to fill out, and they'll create the lead ad for you, and they'll send you the leads to your email. So if the whole lead ad thing is complicated for you and you have a listing, just go to Relay HQ and build a single property website. They look really nice, and they do a good job with the ads. Any question? Oh, you want to take a picture of that? Go ahead. Let me move out of the way for you.
I got you here.
No problem. Do you guys have single property websites on the back or no? Okay, cool.
How much is that?
You can always use that and tie it into the Facebook lead ads.
How much is that relay?
Relay, I think, is $59, and you can put quite a few. You can make quite a few single property websites. Then, depending on how much money you want to put in for the Facebook ad, that's separate. That goes directly to Facebook. Dare. Anybody heard of Dare? Besides the drug thing and that was. Look, Dare came out the name because these kids that are running Facebook, 26 and 25, they didn't do a lot of research in regards to a name before they came up with Dare. I met the guy who named it, and I'm like, dude, no. So Dare, dynamic ads for real estate. Anybody familiar with this? You are? Sweet.
A little bit.
All right, so when they came up with this in March, they called us before they came out with this. And they said, Tristan, we're going to come out with this. What do you think? I said, dude, it's really complicated. I don't get it. He's like, let me show it to you. So he showed it. I'm like, oh, so you're telling me I have to have 100 listings to be able to make this work? He's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm like, dude, there's no single agent in the nation who has, well, maybe, but not a lot of us have 100 listings at a time, right? It's usually a brokerage or maybe an MLS, right? MLSs have thousands of listings usually. So in March, when they came up with this, they've tweaked it. They've tweaked it to the point that 3 companies in the whole nation are using this only.
Wow.
Redfin, they were first. Zillow just barely started, about 3 weeks ago, because I just saw their ads. And Ylopo is the only other company that's doing it. They've been doing it since February of this year, and this product came out March of last year. So it took people a while to adjust and to figure it out. But let me explain to you why Dare is so important, because it kind of brings together social media and the MLS. And for us, it's super powerful because most Americans are spending 51 minutes a day on Facebook. So why take them off of Facebook if they're already on Facebook? And that's the point of Dare. Dare puts the MLS into your Facebook feed and connects when they click on the ad to your whole IDX. So they really never leave. They just start seeing properties, and you're the agent that they're seeing the whole time. Anytime they click, anytime you engage, they just see you, but it gets better. Here's the dynamic part. I'm going to show you 2 ads. This one, they're pretty much the same, but they're targeting different people. The one on the left, I'm targeting my whole database. At the time, I uploaded 26,000 people that I had in my database to the one on the left. To the one on the right, I uploaded all of my Facebook friends to it. And some of them are realtors, so they keep on seeing my ads. You may see my ads.
You see what?
Yeah.
Using it too.
Yeah. So But the cool thing is this. Imagine your database that you have right now. Imagine your database that you have from open house leads, past clients, old Realtor.com leads, old Zillow leads, Craigslist, you name it, everywhere. Now they're seeing your MLS feed on their Facebook feed as they're scrolling down. As they click on it and they say, oh, cool, and they start searching. They start searching maybe for 600,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. The next day, it remembers and starts sending them only those type of properties. So now, the next day they're like, oh, 600,000, how did it know what I like? Click, 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 more, more, more. As they're clicking, we're getting notified on the back saying, hey, this guy's going crazy looking at properties on Facebook, you may want to call him. And so that's exactly what happened. We tested this since March of this year, and we had a Zillow lead. I know the date because we were testing it out. February 23rd, 2017, we got a Zillow lead. I called him up, and according to my CRM notes, it says that the guy didn't want to talk to us, he hated us, and wanted us to remove him from our CRM. He just said, I don't know how you got my information, but we know it was through Zillow. So I said, okay, fine. We didn't call him. We implemented this year. And in March, all of a sudden he started engaging in his Facebook feed. And we noticed he had seen like 50 different properties. I'm like, I guess that's a signal we should be calling him, right? 50 properties. So I call him up, and then he's a French dude. And so I'm like, okay, French. I've got Valerie on my team who speaks French. And I said, hey, give this guy a call. Called him, re-engaged with him, connected with him, pre-approved him for $1.2 million in Santa Monica off of a Dare ad because we re-engaged all of our old leads. So what Dare is doing, or what Dare is going to do for all of us in the future, is it starts nurturing our leads, because we're not always the greatest at nurturing, right? And we don't really know when people are ready, but if it's in front of their face on Facebook and Instagram, people will engage. And that's what we're noticing. Now this, almost nobody is doing this. So this is what's next. We're seeing also Dare be used, right now they're beta testing it, for seller leads. So that's a whole different world on the seller leads. But they're starting. So when you hear of Dare, you think of Dare, think of this automated process that you put in place that you just don't touch. You get hand raisers. Any questions on Dare?
So you said some other formats are using it, Zillow.
Redfin
Ylopo.
and Zillow and Ylopo. Those are the only 3.
So if you have any of those, or you're...
Well, Redfin, you have to be part of
Leads.
Redfin, and they keep all the leads and all of your commission, right?
Right.
So they suck. And who's the other one? Zillow. Zillow's going to charge you up the ass for a lead. So don't do that. Ylopo's the only choice, right? Right now. And look, at the rate that this is going, Realtor.com never catches up to anything until like it's too late. They're always following Zillow's footsteps. And I don't really see any other company being able to do this quickly because it requires a whole IDX and it requires a lot of technology on the back end. And because Ylopo has a relationship with Facebook, because I connected them, I don't know of any other company that's going to have an advantage over this quickly that we can use. And if you call up Ylopo, be like, hey Ylopo, I want to target my sphere on Facebook that I have. It costs us like $200 a month. It's not even expensive. So just if you want to target your past clients or your database, just say dump them in there and remarket to them. Then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing, oh, another one. Look, I got a friend from college who started looking at properties. They got auto texted through Ylopo because they were on here. I didn't even text them. This is all automated. They got texted and then they responded back saying, yeah, I'm getting pre-qualified already. I'll talk to you soon. I'm like, okay. It's a friend from from college.
How did they get auto
So
text?
Ylopo, when they start noticing that they're engaging a lot in their ads, they have what's called behavioral text. They text them and it depends all on the behavior. And so this is a lot of this automated stuff.
I'm like, you're going to sleep right now.
Look, I mean, I'm not doing anything right now. In the middle of the night, we get these behavioral text emails saying, hey, this person responded, this is their response. I got one last night that I shared with Wailopo, the creators of Wailopo. It's one of the texts that says, it just says, it says the name, like, Michael? Question mark. And then the guy says, who the fuck is this? I'm assuming it was angry because that's what it said. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I sent it over. I go, maybe that doesn't work, guys. Take that off. But good question. Somebody had a question.
Yes, so you need to join Wailopo.
You can call, look, when you call Wailopo, say you just want to use their product to target your sphere or past clients on social media. And then they'll put everything together. They'll say, okay, download, they'll show you how to download all of your Facebook friends, and then they'll say, send us all of your sphere, past clients, whoever. And then all of a sudden, they'll match it up to all of their Facebook pages, and then they'll target them every day.
Just call me, guys, after this. It's going to take too long. We're fully set up. We have discounts. And
there you go.
And Tristan and I are
Brother
the
Mike.
only people in California that are going to beta test the seller leads. So we'll be starting that next week or the week after, I think.
Yeah, I think a couple more weeks.
Yeah, Howard said like 2 more weeks, I think.
But I think if you want to get all of them into the whole targeting their sphere,
yeah, no,
that's freaking amazing.
We already have that, and the behavioral texting is crazy. We're getting like 15 to 20 leads a day right now.
That's great. I have a question though about that. Let's say, yeah, I've got my sphere, I've got my database, but I only have a couple listings. What are they?
Doesn't matter.
What ads are they putting in front of
They're
them?
sending them properties from the MLS because we all belong to the IDN. We paid for the IDN.
And they connect that to me.
They just connected, yeah.
Okay.
And it's awesome when the other agent says, "Hey, you're advertising my properties."
No, I'm not.
We're on Zillow too, man.
It's MLS. Come on.
Okay, cool.
We have a website. It has all of the properties.
I was thinking I wouldn't have much. I got like
Don't
2
even worry about it.
listings.
Yeah, they'll use everything else that's out there that they can legally use. So this puts you slightly ahead of everybody else. Nobody, I mean, there's only 2 of us, maybe like 3 or 4 of us doing it in all of California. But we were the first. So Instagram. Anybody use Instagram here? Oh, good. There's a few Instagrammers. Cool. I like Instagram. To grow my team, I use Instagram. The one on the left was an ad that I did in, I think it was January. And I ran it for 7 days and I had 24 applicants and then I shut it off. So Instagram is super powerful. It targets more of the millennials. Those ads that I showed you for lead ads, those are also running on Instagram because Facebook owns Instagram. So all of these leads, the average age of a user in Facebook's like 38, 40. And the average age of an Instagram user I thought was like 28, 29. It's around there. So different ages for different social media outlets. And Snapchat does not work, so not for that usually. So you can just stay off of that.
So you have a business and a personal on Instagram
Yeah, I do.
as well.
Because they're connected to your Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
you could just, they're the exact same thing. So on the right you see that I'm advertising a property, it's a lead ad, it's the exact same thing. And if you want to automate it, use Buffer. Hootsuite does it too. Buffer just for me is a little simpler, maybe because I started using it first or I liked it, I don't know. But Buffer auto posts. So you can decide what you want to post a few days in advance, just so that it actually looks like you're paying attention to your social media, right? And you don't go like weeks without posting something, right? Try Buffer. That picture right there was put by Nick Baldwin. You can blame his corniness for adding RoboCop. But Facebook, Instagram, lead funnel, half man, half machine. He has the corniest pictures. All right, so what he was trying to tell you is that half man, half machine, because we're using a company called Agent Legend to automate a lot of our texting and automate a lot of our communication, whether it's email, texting, voicemail, video, whatever. There are also other options here. There's Shout Boss. If you want to write these down, because I don't have them up here. Besides Agent Legend, there's Shout Boss, and that's less expensive than Agent Legend. But I prefer Agent Legend because their user interface is a little easier to use, and it comes with an app. And the app for me makes the difference. Shout Buzz, Get Riley Now, which is just Riley, and I think they were probably first to market years back, 2 years back. And Ava? Is it Ava? We always see them at Club Walk.
I don't know.
And then Ava. Those are the 4 that you can test out.
Ava?
Ava, A-I-V-A. The thing is, look,
What are they all?
there are so many companies now jumping on this bandwagon. So Riley was the first to start texting back and forth with people. Agent Legend was the first to automate the whole process for you so you could take a step back and just let it run on its own. So you're going to start seeing a lot more companies. But look, this is what we've got. Day 1, we got a call. A lead comes in through Realtor.com, Zillow, Craigslist, pay-per-click, Facebook, whatever, online. They come in, they get a voicemail. That's if you don't have an ISA. I have one, so we've shut the voicemail off. But, bless you. I thought that was a Coke can. That was cool. First 2 minutes, they get a voicemail. It says, hey, it's Tristan. Just came through our Facebook feed. Wanted to see how we can help you out. Done. Next, 5 minutes later, a text that says, hey, I just left you a voicemail. Just wanted to see how we can help you out with your home search. You came through Facebook. Next, if they don't respond, because if they respond, it shuts off. If they don't respond, 15 minutes later, they get a nudge text saying, hey, just kind of gently reminding them, hey, I know you're busy and you probably forgot about me in my first text, but are you still interested or how can we help you? That second text. Then they get an email. That's it for the first day. If they don't respond, the second day continues. And then the third day, 4th day shut off because I don't do anything on the 4th day. Then the 5th day, 6th day, 7th day, and then it keeps going until you respond. Or until you call the cops on me. That won't work. Everybody who comes in, we have them double opt in for the text because we don't want to get in trouble. So the best text that we have right now that gets the most responses for either leads that haven't responded for a few days or leads that have just never responded. We have a 19% response ratio on this text alone, and that's, hey, I'm not sure if you're here this weekend, but I have a list of open houses. Can I text that or email it to you? And that text just gets us so many responses. It's like, hell no, I hate you, take me off your list. I'm here this weekend, send me it. Usually we get this, text it to me, text it to me, text it to me. That's the response that we get. Then at that point when they respond, because that's what we wanted, they raise their hand, they're engaged, and we ask them, great, what's your price range? And they'll say, 600,000. All right, just want to make sure I have the right areas. Are you only looking in? And then you've just started the whole conversation with them. Say, great, I'll send it to you and then I'll call you. Don't give them an option. You call them up after you send them and then you engage. It's part of that whole process of actually picking up the phone and talking to people, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Here, this alone, just with Agent Legend, we have a 50% response rate on Facebook lead ads. 50% response rate. That's pretty huge. That means that all these leads that people say suck, we're getting a 50% response rate just from Agent Legend. That's not including anybody picking up the phone and calling them. 1 out of every 2 leads that comes through. Now here's some sample scripts that you can take a picture of. There's just some things that's how we talked. There may be some glare, so you may not be able to get most of it. But you can see the nudge text. That's one of our nudge texts. That second text says, oh, I forgot to ask, are you looking for a fixer-upper to flip or a home to live in for yourself? Now the nudge text is always saying, oh, I forgot. Oh, hey, I'm still here type thing. Just like a little nudge. After the campaign is over, we've created other campaigns on Agent Legend so that we nurture them for a year. We have open house leads that come through. We dump them on Agent Legend so that we know we kind of sometimes suck at following up. But the system, it doesn't. It's fail-proof. I just put somebody in on there, and I know that regardless of where I am or what I'm doing, they're going to be texted, they're going to be called, and the system is going to take it on. So think of this as an extended you, because it has the exact verbiage that you have. The voicemail drop is your voice. The verbiage that's used on text and email, it's you. So think of how you can start using this. Like I was telling you guys at the beginning, I use this for expires too. I take a step back and I say, well, where the hell can I use this? What else can I do? Because I want to take a look at leveraging the most amount of technology I can, especially if it's just one tool. This isn't like 50 tools that you have to pay for in a year. This is just one. People always ask me, where do I start? I would probably start with something as simple as Agent Legend or Shoutboss. Like I said, it's cheaper. But one of the techs that we use, it includes a company called Altos Research. Altos Research we use when we go do listing presentations. It just gives more information to that client about the area. So one of our techs includes a link to Malibu. Now you may not be in Malibu, but the auto text will always say, hey, it'll use their first name. It doesn't say first name. Hey, Mike, here's a cool report that I love. It's for Malibu though. I'm not sure if you're only looking in Malibu, let me know. Then the report shows up and the link's there. And then they usually get back and say, hey, I'm not looking in that area. Can you send me Thousand Oaks? Another one of Nick's corny pictures. Consumer lead portals, less man, more machine. So people say, so what are you doing right now? So this is what I'm doing right now. I started with Agent Legend. I'm like, wow, this is super cool. And I had my ISAs calling. And that gave us, just with Agent Legend, like I said, 50% response rate. But I combined Agent Legend with Agentology. And I had to fool around with it because Agentology calls all of your leads for the first 5 days. It's an ISA group out of San Diego. It's US based, they speak Spanish, they speak English. And so I thought, well, why don't I combine both companies? And it'll leave my ISAs that I have in-house to be able to nurture the leads that we already have, because we've got thousands of leads. This way they start engaging with all the new leads that are from our online sources. So here's what it looks like. We've tweaked it so that we know that Agentology calls for the first 5 days. But for the first day, Agentology attempts to contact the lead 5 times. So we thought, okay, they do most of their 10 attempts on the first day. So that means I can turn on Agent Legend on like day 2 or 3, and it won't be as much of a pain to somebody that we're trying to get a hold of. So on day 3, we start our Agent Legend campaign now. We let our ISAs from Agentology attempt to call for the first 3 days, and then Agent Legend starts. You can see here, this is how they pre-qualify somebody. It gives you the information. It tells you who they talked to, where the lead came from, and all the details. But let's say they were trying to call this guy named Chad. 3 days later, my day 1 starts for Agent Legend. And all of a sudden they get the text, hey, I'm not sure if our ISA was able to get a hold of you. You came through whatever. You came through Realtor.com, Zillow, Craigslist, whatever. But it goes along with that because you can make all of these campaigns on Agent Legend. I think I have like a total of 22 different campaigns on Agent Legend, one for different scenarios. Because I'm all about authenticity. I want it to sound like it's specifically to where you came from. If you came from Realtor.com, I want to make sure that it's that response that you get back.
Is David speaking?
Huh?
Is David speaking?
Which David?
Tall?
Yeah, he's speaking for 30 minutes. So at the event, we'll have David Tao. He created Agentology. He'll be there, and he'll go over what the future of ISA mixed with tech looks like. So you can, so you can be ahead of at least understanding where they're going with this. Because, like I said at the beginning, AI, we're just barely scratching the surface of this. And I think the best combination, what we're going to see in the future, best combination is going to be actual tech with an actual human taking over. But we have to perfect that tech. It's not there yet. This is Agentology if you use Realtor.com. Zillow, I don't. I haven't used Zillow or Realtor.com for 2 years. But if you do, they have a really good conversion. We do, we let them. We let them go all day. Sometimes they're starting a product where they're only going to do it for the weekend. So some people just want it for the weekend. Because you know how we do open houses on the weekend, we show most of our properties on the weekend. So they're thinking of creating a product just for that, which would be cool. Like 24 hours, Saturday and Sunday. That'd be awesome.
I met with them last week, and 75% of the leads are coming in after 6 p.m.
Yep, that's true.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so nights and weekends we're turning on and turning it off during the day.
That's huge.
So the presentation I saw last week is what he was giving there, and it was amazing.
How much does it
Lucky. I think there's a base fee of like $200.
Yeah, it's cheap.
And then it's $4 a lead. So you've got like 20 leads coming in a month. It's not a lot. It's your own ISAs. It saves you that time and that leverage, right? If you're out with your family, kids, you know at least it's being handled. And when they pre-qualify them, they'll send you that. They'll text it to you and they'll email it to you.
Very nice.
All right, Craigslist. Anybody use Craigslist here? All right, good. So I used to use Craigslist a lot back in 2007 or 8, around there, because the market shifted and it all went to hell. And you either were doing REOs or property management, right? Or Craigslist. And I was doing Craigslist. But then they changed Craigslist.
You bunched those three together.
Hey, it worked for me.
Property management.
How about this? I started my whole team on Craigslist. That was when I said, wow, I'm getting so many leads. I think I need to start a team in 2009. That's when I started my team. And it was because I figured out Craigslist. I was posting to Craigslist. We were posting 100 postings every 20 minutes. So we were getting flagged and their accounts were getting deleted. But we figured it all out. Anyway, in 2012, they changed everything and they screwed us. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So we changed. We said, well, let's figure something out. So about a year and a half ago, we started using more of this text feature that a couple of companies have out there that we like. But first I want to tell you that the Craigslist leads, the reason they're good, we don't get a lot of them like we used to. We probably get no more than about 20 in a month. But these people that are looking on Craigslist, they've looked on the MLS, they've called their real estate agent, they've been to open houses, and they haven't found property. So they're going to Craigslist as a second choice, saying, well, shit, if I can't find property anywhere, I might as well check on Craigslist. And so we're finding that a lot of these people engage with us because we're their last hope to find property. And they're motivated. They come pre-approved. This is an ad now. This is Nick's ad. So this is what I do. Anytime I teach in California, I use Nick's ads so I don't get in trouble. And Nick uses my ads in New Jersey. This way you guys can all take pictures and, you know, we don't know the rules in New Jersey. So take a picture. Now this works in New Jersey. I'm not sure it'll work in California, but I do it all day.
It works better than
it works. Yeah. So you see here the second ad right here, or the first ad. For more pictures, info, and location, text foreign to that number, or you can text style to this number, and you're going to get that specific information. Now what happens is we use a company called Call Action. You can also use Lion Desk if you've got them as a CRM. They offer this too. Call Action I like a little bit more because I think I have, let me see if I added it. Yep, I did, perfect. Because Call Action gives you a little bit more information on the person that's inquiring. And so here are the key codes. We've created quite a few different key codes. So you can text fixer, you can text the list, you can text least expensive homes, you can text all these phrases to numbers, and they send you different things. And so this way, when they're texting you this specific thing, they get engaged just like they would have gotten engaged through Agent Legend. Let me see here. There it is. Because you can, go ahead and take a picture if you want. You can create a drip. Again, it's automated. You can add video, you can add emojis, you can add voicemail, you can add everything you want. And if you're busy on the phone or you can't pick up, if you don't pick up the phone and they're calling you or texting you, it automatically texts them back and says, hey, I'm in the middle of something, can I call you back in 45 minutes? Or you can have it say whatever you want.
You guys, Jesse was just here from Call Action a few weeks ago. We recorded it. It's on our YouTube channel, a whole hour going through Call Action and all its uses. It's a really good class.
Oh, Jesse's splitting his time with David Talon. So there's a session at Lab Code Agents where in an hour on a breakout room, we're having David Tal that created Agentology and Jesse who created Call Action. David Tal's going first for 30 minutes on the future of tech and real estate, and Jesse's going next right after him. So he'll show you some new things there too.
Don't miss that.
Yeah, so sign calls. I should have done this a year ago, but I finally decided to do it. I put all of my signs, I put my call action number on there. You can put your Lion Desk number on there too. People are like, why the hell did you do that? Well, let me show you. So this was 3 weeks ago, and I get a call from one of my signs. I get a lot of calls, but this one I recorded here. I get an incoming call, and it says from Michelle. I don't know who the hell it is because it's a kid on the phone. He's like 5 years old. He's saying, hi, my mom saw a house and she wants to know how much it is. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But can you tell me where it is? He's like, Mommy, where is it? This is a real conversation happening. And I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. She's like, tell him it's on the corner of Westlake. And I'm like, oh, I know what house it is. So I tell him, I'm like, well, so what information do you want? She's like, she just wants to know the price. I said, okay. So I tell him the price. And then he hangs up. I'm like, oh, you little bastard. I wanted more information. But thank God they called this number, because as soon as they did, you can see on the right, as soon as they called, it pulled all of their information up. So I have her full name, I have her address, I know whether she owns a home, I know her husband, I know her phone carrier. I know where she's lived in the past. I know a lot of stuff. It's called Call Action. That's what separates this from Lion Desk. You can do it with Lion Desk, but Lion Desk won't give you all of the information. Now, I was like, crap, this kid hung up, and I was about to start my open house. I did my open house. Then I texted back, and I said, hey, Michelle, because I know her name. Do you have any other questions about the mansion in Westlake Village? Blah, blah, crap. He says, hi, Tristan. I'm good, thank you. Unfortunately, it's above our budget, but thanks for reaching out. We keep on talking. As we're talking, she says, one of your agents is calling me on the other line, or texting me with me. I go, hold on, let me tell him to shut up. Because it's agentology texting them, right? Because as soon as they do a sign call, it goes into our CRM, and agentology starts calling them too, and texting them. So now I'm engaging with her. It goes pretty deep. And then I'm like, you know what, this was a really good conversation. She does want to sell. So my next step, it may be creepy, but the next step was, I went to her house and I dropped off a thank you card. And she never asked me, where did you get my address from? Never did. She was thankful for the card, and now we're talking. And she does want to sell her house, but she doesn't want to buy for $4 million. She wants to buy for about 1.5.
Not bad.
This is from a sign call, and I got all the information from, so all of my signs have my call action number. All of them.
How do you respond to them when they ask you where you got your information from?
It's easy. So when you texted me, all of your information came through. I know who you are. I know where your address is. Like, it's just something we subscribe to. That's it. You're not gonna lie to them. Be like, I'm a real estate agent, bitch. I know everything. Come on.
More like FBI agent.
And then you say that's one of the benefits of listing with us, because when the buyers call on your home, we can help them get in touch with you.
We can track them too. So the best combination, what we've seen, like I said, is this AI, this technology, mixed with human touch, human engagement. That's the secret. I don't think it's going to change. But you have these companies coming in and saying they're trying to replace the real estate agent. I go, I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. It's just, there's too much. When I talk to people that are extremely wealthy, the last thing they want to do is leave their property with somebody they don't trust. The number one thing with them is trust. As soon as they trust you, it's game over. They will call you for everything. There's a property we sold in Malibu, and this client calls us for everything. They wanted to book a restaurant. They wanted to book dinner at a restaurant, a Nobu in Malibu, and they're hitting us up. They're like, hey, can you book? I'm like, oh my gosh. I go, yes, I can. Hold on. Let me send it to my assistant. Send it over. But they start trusting you for one thing, they'll trust you for everything. And that trust, I mean, you can't really trust an AI to be able to do all this stuff, right? At least not yet. Maybe we're years ahead of this. So here are the stages here. Let me see if I put them in here. We'll jump. Yeah, what's next? So reactive machines, that's what we have right now. They're reacting to some type of a stimulus, right? The lead comes in, that's the stimulus, hey, the lead came in, and then we have that reaction, whatever it is that we've created, right? That response, that's where we're at right now with SimAI. And then you have the limited memory like Tesla. You've got those cars, they know they can remember where they've been so that they don't make the same mistakes. They know that's how they can go through different roads and adjust. That's very limited right now though. What we're looking at and why Zuckerberg says this is amazing and Elon Musk says it's super scary, it's theory of mind and self-awareness. Because as soon as you start creating these AIs that start kind of being aware of what they are and what they can do with no consciousness, right? Becomes a little bit difficult. Like, how do you control them if they want to make their own decisions based on the information that they have, because they think they can make the best decisions because they have a lot of information. So who knows? But we're not there yet. It could be a while before we're there. It's just a little bit scary. And then again, lab coat agents, June 26th through the 28th, we have approximately 50 speakers. I think we have a little bit over 50 speakers. But who wants to go? Come on. Who's going already?
I'm going.
We got a few people going. All right, cool. If you haven't bought your ticket, you can buy it today for $199. It's $349 right now, but it's only today for $199. And it starts on the... Dude, you were like the first person to buy a ticket. Thanks.
I never miss it.
And then I'll leave you with this quote. I think after you see all of this, you start thinking, well, this is really freaking complicated and it's too tough for me. Just take a step back. Pick one aspect of real estate that you want to leverage, that you want to automate, and work on that. And then take it one step at a time. Like how I started, the thing that I was really good at was online leads. Because of Craigslist, and then it went from Craigslist to Google pay-per-click, to Zillow, to Realtor.com, to Facebook. That's a progression for me. But I've always been really good at it. So what I did is I outlined on a doc, I said, well, these are the responses that have been working for me because I'm so good at this. And then I started implementing that and automating it. So if you're good at open houses, if you are amazing with past clients in your sphere, you can automate these nurture campaigns to do it for you. So just think about what you want to do next.
Do you share the scripts or the...
Text that and you'll get the script.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
That's it, bud. Thank you. Come ahead, guys. Good luck for Tristan. You guys have any questions before we...
Are you going to post this?
Yeah, we recorded it. Yeah.
Where is it posting at?
Our YouTube channel.
Which everybody should subscribe to so they get them all.
The HomeSmart NCG.
There you go.
Space.